always know where I'm headed, but I always find a way to keep going. Roll with me.
Peace, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Olivia, and today we're exploring an important topic: what it means to be triggered and how to effectively manage those triggers in our lives. Understanding our triggers can empower us to respond in healthier ways and enhance our emotional well-being. I'm talking about this because it just happened yesterday. So let's dive in. First, let me further explain what it means to be triggered. A trigger is essentially a response to a situation, a memory, or even a phrase that evokes strong emotional reactions, often related to past trauma or distressing experiences, like, some stressful stuff. You might feel anger, sadness, anxiety, or even physical symptoms like a racing heart, like me. I'll get into that in a minute. It's important to recognize that triggers are personal and can vary greatly from one person to another. So what triggers me may not trigger you or your mama or your sister, your cousin, your boo, whatever. Like, it's all personal and it can vary. So for me, one significant trigger is being let down. When someone says they will do something and they don't follow through, or let me know that they can't, like if something happens and they can't, oh my God, it just makes my blood boil and my heart race. Like, I turn into Hulk internally. Like, it just, ooh, right? And I remember when someone promised to support me during a challenging time, and this was a time when I actually asked for support. I asked for help, which doesn't always come easy for me, and I trusted that they would show up for me. But when I needed them, they weren't there. No phone call, no heads up, no nothing. And when I say that moment sent me into a spiral of frustration, disappointment, hurt, like it felt like the worst pain in the world, I later realized that my reaction was tied to a deeper feeling of abandonment, of not being valued. And what's even deeper, I was expecting that person to show up in the same way I would for them. Like, if I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. And if I can't, I'll let you know. But when I say that thing hurt, so yeah, it hurt. So one thing that we all have an opportunity to do before we're actually triggered is to identify our triggers, so that we can manage them better and get out ahead of it if we're ever in a situation where we're triggered. So step one is to sit down, take note of situations or interactions that evoke strong emotional responses. You can ask yourself questions like, damn, like what happened before I got angry or I felt that way? And are there certain people or environments that consistently trigger me? Right? Because awareness is the first step in understanding your own emotional landscape, right? So once you've identified your triggers, here are a couple things that you can do to help cope with them. I use a lot of these, so I'm speaking from experience. The first thing is to pause and breathe. When you feel triggered, take a moment, pause, breathe deep, like breathe, like, ooh. And this can help ground you, help create space between the trigger and your response. Number 2, acknowledge your feelings. Allow yourself to feel what you're feeling without judgment, because recognizing your emotions are crucial for processing them. How you going to process it if you don't even understand, or, you don't even know what it is? Number 3, give yourself an opportunity to reflect on the trigger after the moment has passed. Reflect on what triggered you, and you may want to start journaling about it or discuss it with a friend or a therapist. But you gotta have some reflection time. If not, you'll just be walking around getting triggered and blaming everybody else. Number 4 is to develop coping strategies. Like, just have a toolbox of coping mechanisms that work for you, such as meditating, mindfulness techniques, grounding exercise. Go outside, take a walk barefoot, or just walk until you cool off, and learn how to self-soothe, because you're not going to always have somebody to pick up the phone and talk you down, calm you down. And the last thing is, make sure you set boundaries. If there are certain situations or people consistently triggering you, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm not going to be around that person, so that you're not constantly intentionally being triggered. And it's your responsibility to, protect your emotional well-being, right? Because it's not, like I said earlier in the video, it's not on anyone to change their behavior. Well, let me not say that. It's not anybody else's responsibility to be mindful of your triggers and try not to trigger you, right? It's okay if they choose to do that, but at the end of the day, your triggers are your responsibility. So, in conclusion, understanding what it means to be triggered and having strategies in place to manage those triggers can significantly enhance your life and your emotional health. But remember, it's a process, and it's perfectly okay to seek support along the way. Like, it's not realistic to think that you'll never be triggered, right? That's just not reality. So the best thing to do is to be aware and be mindful of your triggers, and get out ahead of it as best you can by having some tools in place, some strategies in place to help you manage those moments a lot better. That's all I got. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want to discuss this further, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. Until next time, peace.